Hi, my name's Edward, and I'm the campus pastor for our Wadsworth location. And I'm excited just to take a minute here in this video to turn away from looking at all the statistics and reading all the articles and watching the latest press conference. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm excited to take a minute here and to focus on something else and to focus on the Lord and to think about who He is and what He's done for us. And to do that today, I want to turn to the Psalms. I love the Psalms. It's one of my favorite books in the Bible. Because the Psalms, they express a wide array of emotions and situations, and they really show us how to communicate with God. For all of church history, Christians have turned to the Psalms to answer the question, how do I talk to God, especially in hard times, especially when I don't know what to say? There are many times, it happens more often than you might think, where I don't know what to pray, or where I don't know what to say to God, and I can just turn to a psalm and read it and pray through it and communicate with Him through that. And so today I want to turn our attention to Psalm chapter 4. And the reason I want to do that is it's a short psalm, and it was written by David at a time of distress, in a time of pain, in a time of shame for him. And what I love about this psalm is it doesn't minimize his distress, it doesn't minimize his situation, but what he does in this psalm is he turns to the greater joy that he finds in the Lord in the midst of his situation. So over the next couple minutes, I just want to focus on verses 6 and 7. Verse 6 says this, "There are many who say, 'Who will show us some good? Lift up the light of your face upon us, O Lord.'" So David is in distress. He's in a hard situation, and he's recognizing that there are many people who say, who's going to show us some good? Who's going to show us something good? I think we can all relate with that during this time. We turn on our TVs, and we just long for good news. We open up our phones, and we long for good news. Who will show us something good? But notice what David does with that feeling. Right in the middle of verse 6, he turns this psalm into a prayer. And he prays the Lord. He says, "Lift up the light of your face upon us, O Lord." He turns to God in his distress. And I want to encourage you to do the same. And as he turns to God in his distress, here's what happens. Look what happens in verse 7. He says this to the Lord. He says, "You have put more joy in my heart than they have when their grain and wine abound." He recognizes that, there's joy in abundance. There's joy when grain and wine abound. There's joy when it seems like things are secure financially and otherwise. He recognizes that there is joy in that, but he says, no, there's a greater joy that I have in the Lord in the midst of any circumstance. A joy that's not a fake kind of joy. It's not a fake it till you make it joy. It's not a think positive, put blinders on and ignore what's going on kind of joy, but a deeper joy that he finds in the Lord, in who he is, in what the Lord's done. And this is true for us today. That if you've trusted Christ as your Savior, if He's your Lord, if He's your Savior, then He's your Lord and He's your Savior no matter what. No matter the circumstance, He's died for us. No matter the circumstance, He has canceled our sin debt. No matter the circumstance, He's promised us peace. No matter the circumstance, He's promised us a new life. No matter the circumstance, He's promised us a life even on the other side of the grave. And this is true regardless of the circumstance. And David recognizes that his joy from the Lord is greater because he can find it in all circumstances. So I want to encourage you today to take a minute to turn to the Psalms. Maybe pray Psalm 4 for yourself. I want to encourage you that if you're experiencing any distress during this season, during this situation that we're all facing together, to take that distress to the Lord, not to ignore it, but to take it to the Lord. And then I want to encourage you to recognize the joy that we can have, the deep underlying joy that we can have because of who God is and because of what He's done for us. Take a minute and focus on that today. Let's turn our attention towards that today, even if it's just for a little bit, because the Lord has been so good to us. Thanks for joining us and hope to see you soon.